Hi y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Guys, when I got onto Reddit a couple days ago and I saw that some of the channels that I'm subscribed to had disappeared, I was I didn't know what to think. And r/facepalm was one of them. And then my son told me that Reddit had gone through some changes, and he showed me the news article about it, and I was just like, this is crazy about the third party subscribers and or whatever. And so I thought r/facepalm was gone forever. And what do you know, a day or two ago, I log on to Reddit, and r/facepalm was back in all of its glory, and we are here to dive right in and see the craziness that it brings. So let's dive right in. Law enforcement source: 19 officers fired into UPS truck could exceed 200 rounds. Before read any further, could they, I don't see how this could not have been handled a different way, but moving on. Thank God the cops opened fire and killed the two suspects, the hostage, and a random passerby, or the two guys would have gotten away with some insured jewelry that their easily identified super slow moving UPS truck that was already being GPS tracked and had a helicopter following it. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay, so yes, there definitely was an easier way to do this without 19 officers firing at this UPS truck. You killed two innocent people, plus the two suspects that you were trying to hopefully just arrest, not kill, when you just could have followed them with your helicopter in the UPS truck. Yes, this is the definition of a facepalm moment. Stupid. So stupid. Alright, so what the USA thinks it's number one in. This is what they think they're number one in. Healthcare, which they're actually the 30th in. Happiness, which they're the 19th in. Education, which they're the 26th in. And I think that really depends on which state you're in. Life expectancy, which they're the 46th in. I live in the United States. Free press, which it's the 42nd in. Freedom index, which I have no idea what that is. It's the 17th in. And climate change performance, which it's basically at the bottom, 59 out of 60. What is the 60th? Who could possibly be doing worse than we are? What are we number one in? Incarceration, gas consumption, oil consumption, and military spending. Oh no, our students need help with basic education needs. Our people are going broke trying to get basic health care. Where should we spend our money? Getting more guns for the military. Fighting wars, which we don't need to do. Locking up people. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Don't get me started. Do not get me started on that. All right. My daughter was just offered a teaching position. $16.25 per hour. She has 2 masters in education. That's a whopping $32,800 annually. No wonder they can't find good teachers. She was making $55K as a bartender. Our priorities are jacked up. And yes, I would absolutely agree. And honestly, that really depends on where she was living. When I first started teaching, which was way back in 2008, my salary was around $30,000. I don't quite remember exactly what it was, but it was very close to that line, $30,000. I got one raise, which wasn't a huge raise. I don't quite remember what it was, but it was not a very extensive pay hike. And then the state that I live in decided to go on a pay hiatus where they would not increase teacher pay for 5 years. So I stayed at the same pay rate as a basically first year teacher for the next 5 years. And then my salary still did not go up when the pay freeze stopped, which I think was incredibly messed up. And first year teachers were coming in making more than me. Though it did not take long for the state to be like, oh, I'm sorry. Here's the money that you're supposed to be making, and my pay increased. I'd say to about this much. Like it was about 32,000. Like it wasn't far off from that. When I quit teaching, I was making about $35,000, and that was back in 2018. I did not have a master's. I did not have any other special stuff. But yes, this is absolutely ridiculous. Asking a teacher that has 2 masters to accept basically $33,000. I mean, there's teachers that'll do it. They say, do it for the kids. That's what you're there for, but we also have to make a livable wage. My 15-year-old son plays basketball, and he told me his coach gave him 15 push-ups for fooling around. How can I stop his coach from abusing him like this in the future? If that is abuse, giving 15 push-ups, then when I was a teenager in high school, I was the I don't know. I wasn't on the basketball team. I was just like the little helper or whatever. Water girl, I guess. I don't know. They gave me a different name. But I would watch as the coach would, give them like death sprints, where they would run the basketball court, and I can't explain how they would run it, but they would run it to one point and then back to another point, and then to another point on it, and then back to the original point. And they would do that 4 times. And then he would make them do something else right after that. And these girls would be winded, I'm telling you, winded. And then he would still make them practice right after that, and do more, what he called warm-ups or whatever. And you're telling me that 15 push-ups is abuse? No, I'm sorry. Look at this and just try and tell me that all 3 of these women don't look exactly the same. Try and tell me that Disney isn't lazy when it comes to creating women. Wow, 2 sisters and their mom. You're right. Why on earth would they look the same? Yeah, I see what you're trying to say, but you used the wrong picture to say it. It's all from basically the same movie too. Of course, why wouldn't a mom and her two daughters look exactly the same? Who's gonna pay for it? In quotes. Last words I'll never forget. This was the response my patient gasped out between labored breaths to me and my team after we explained that he needed to be intubated and placed on a ventilator. We then called his wife to have him speak to her for what was likely his last opportunity, as many patients do not recover once tubed. This situation is by far the worst thing I've witnessed in my collective 12 years of critical care and anesthesia. Next level heartbreak is having to hear a dying patient use his last words to worry about healthcare finances. This country is truly a failed state, and it's so sickening to witness firsthand more blatantly than ever. I'm not going to disagree with this doctor. Healthcare expenses are absolutely insane. There are definitely some people that have it better than other as far as their insurance is concerned. But it's almost like other insurance companies are sitting there and the agents are like, how can I screw over my insuree today with their payment? Because I recently turned 40, and as most women know, when you turn 40, you have to start getting mammograms. And when I went into my mammogram, it was my first one. And they told me at that first appointment that it would not be strange if they called me back later and I had to come back for another scan because this was the first time that they had ever done this procedure on me. So, while no, I wasn't surprised when I received a call, I was a little surprised with what they said. They said that they found a mass, and so their wording scared me. And so I had to go in and do a second mammogram. And everything was fine. I do have to go back and have to get it scanned 2 more times. Months apart or whatever, just so they can see that it's not moving, it's not growing or whatever. Because they say it's a naturally forming thing. They were just, a little worried or whatever because they'd never seen it, whatever. Well, cut to how many ever months later, and I receive a bill for this second mammogram. And I'm a little confused because I'm like, wait a second. These are supposed to be covered by my insurance. And this thing is like almost $700. And of course, I get on the phone and I am calling my insurance and I'm like, hold up, excuse me. Why am I getting a bill for like $700 for this when I should be insured for this? And basically what they came back at me with is the first one was insured, but because the second one was a diagnostic, they don't insure that. And then I got another here more recently. I got a second bill for like $250 or something like that from another doctor that had to like look at the mass itself. And of course that wasn't covered by insurance either. So yeah, we need to figure out something. I don't know what the answer is, but I don't think that it's right how people almost have to go into debt to pay for the healthcare costs. All right. We have an anagram here. I've seen these at schools, because I was a school teacher. This one looks like it's in a elementary school. But it doesn't make any sense because usually the first letter of an anagram would be the first letter of your sentence there. So this absolutely makes no sense. So the R should be something about something with an R. The O would be something with an O. The A would be something with an A. And the second R would be something with an R. But obviously this isn't. I mean, they could have done something with those letters, maybe, but they didn't. So instead we have this that makes absolutely no sense. And what do they mean in the dining room? Do they mean in the cafeteria? Because this is obviously a school, because that's a school mascot. It could be a middle school, but it looks like that looks like an elementary school mascot. Hi, excuse me. I just found out the prof for this online course I'm taking died in 2019, and he's technically still giving classes since he's literally my prof for this course. And I'm learning from lectures recorded before his passing. It's a great class, but what? So when I saw this one, I was genuinely curious about this. Like, this would be really interesting. So the professor recorded all of his lectures before the passing. They're using the recordings. So he's technically still a professor, but they would have to have someone grading the student's work. So what, if anything, is that person getting? Because that has to be done. So are they a teacher assistant? What is their role in this job? Because, somebody has to do that. I mean, the student's work is part of the learning, and part of the experience of being in this college class, I would assume. This is interesting. I don't know. All right. I added this deck to one of my rental properties, and oh, what a deck it is. There's so much space on this deck. I love it. Just love it. I was able to take the rent up from $700 to $1,200 per month. The tenant moved out, but I rented it quickly at the higher amount. This is the way you move more cash as a landlord and make your tenants live better. Win-win. See, now, I think that is just scummy. So scummy. And I hate to think that there are other landlords out there that are like this, but since across the street from me are basically all leased properties, I've seen it. So, yeah, there are scummy people out there. It's awful. Darian Hunt was a cosplayer who was shot holding a plastic sword while in cosplay. I have to stop and eye roll at how stupid that sentence is. The officers said they fired because they feared public safety. He was shot 6 times, at least 4 of them in the back. Please help reopen his case. He still doesn't have justice. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It makes me wonder, what was he dressed as? All it says is he was in cosplay, which should be obvious enough depending on what cosplay he was doing. But is a plastic sword not obvious enough to officers, or was it a case of, and I hate to say this, but just being black and appearing dangerous? I don't like opening that discussion, but it's there. Methinks that I'm guessing this is a refrigerator, maybe? I can't really tell, but methinks that you are not getting that refrigerator home in the current setup that you have it, because this looks you've got it on a pallet. This is so stupid. Anybody want to go to church with me? Because this looks like an interesting church. Oh, goodness gracious. Twat church. No, I know it's supposed to be TWA church, but that cross is in a very interesting place. Okay. His personal email, we were wondering, blah, blah, blah. The second interview is for a woman named blank. This woman and her husband came in with children, and upon informing them per our company policy, children could not be in the building, she got hostile and still had the children use the restroom. I then informed the donor he would not be allowed to donate today due to this, and when the woman came out from the bathroom, she began yelling at me for deferring him, and then she said, I have an interview here, and I'm guaranteed the job. I'm coming for you, and I'll bury you. This was witnessed by several staff members. If we do have an interview for her, I'd like to see if you can go about canceling that. Thank you. Have a nice day. Yeah, I don't think that if you have an interview that this is the type of attitude that you want to have, because yeah, I don't think that you have an interview anymore or a job. No. That's not that. That's not how to act. Just how? How? How is it still sitting on its side? And how did you do that? I don't understand. And this is our last one, and it's leaving me with a head scratcher. Wow. I don't know how you did it. And it's still sitting like that. Did you get out, or are you still in it? You're leaving me with a lot of questions. And I hope everyone has a good day. If you like this content and you would like to see more of it, please consider subscribing and watching some of my other videos. Thank you, and have a good day.